I'm gonna get right to the point this morning because I have a lot to do out in the world. It's really hot outside. I got a lot to go over in this review, and I don't really feel like catering to everybody's emotions, feelings, and opinions. And you guys know how I feel about opinions anyway, especially when it has to do with a subject that is just clear as night and day. Fact or fiction, true or false, right or wrong. Like last night, the wrestling world is debating if taking the titles off of Gallows and Anderson in just 3 weeks and placing them on Braun Strowman and Rollins was the way to go. Some people are like, I liked it. Others, I didn't like it. Others, I thought it was the right way to go. Others, I thought it was the wrong way to go. Well, let the Amplified Man simplify this for you, because you can take and keep your opinions to yourself or shove them up your ass. I don't care what you do with your opinions. But I'm telling you what was right and wrong. As far as what was right in that situation, nothing, nada, zilch. What was wrong? Taking those titles from Gallows and Anderson and placing them on Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. That is not an opinion. That is right and wrong. For instance, one of my all-time favorites has been Hulk Hogan. If he, this Monday, was to come out of retirement and have one match, even though he can barely move in that ring, he could just maybe still throw a big boot, and even then he would have to try real hard to keep his balance, but a big boot and a cover, and he defeated Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Could you guys imagine that? Do you know the uproar that would be in the community? This 60-something-year-old immobile man known as Hulk Hogan just threw 1 or 2 moves at Seth Rollins and took his Universal Championship. The community there would be outrage. But the Amplified Man would love it. Because I love Hulk Hogan. I would love to see him hoist that championship one more time. That's fan bias. That's my own fandom speaking. I would secretly love that shit. But I would understand the outrage in the community. Why? Because that's wrong. Even though I love Hulk Hogan, I would love to see him hold up the championship. That is wrong, wrong, wrong. Every which way you could think about it. There is no way in the world Hulk Hogan should ever be throwing a couple of moves at Seth Rollins and taking his championship. It's wrong. Nobody wins in that situation. The company sure as hell doesn't. A 60-year-old man just beat one of your hot stars from today. Seth Rollins would lose any credibility. Then again, I could think of 1,000 ways to actually pull that off, but that's my own creativity. I would never entrust WWE with that type of shit. So it would just be wrong. I can admit that. As a Hulk Hogan fan, it's wrong. Nobody, if they're looking at this whole scenario, if they're wholeheartedly giving it their utmost knowledge and logic, pure common sense, nobody can come out with the conclusion that that was the right way to go. BC, they want to really pump up the Braun Strowman-Rollins feud. So they're going to keep them as... I've seen this type of storyline play out 100 different times in the 30 years I've been watching WWE. I already know the storyline of the future opponents becoming tag champions first together. Adding fuel to the fire. Braun Strowman and Rollins, first and foremost, did not need those championships. They didn't. Rollins is your Universal Champion. If you can't get this guy over with that strap, he's not going to be. Braun Strowman, you have given 3 different mega pushes, and each time you have reeled him back in. What is the irrelevant tag championships going to do for them? Are you going to try to tell me that they're going to make them relevant? Bullshit. This is clearly just to get them to their feud. I don't see them holding these straps for absolutely up front more than a month, but I'd give you 2 months max, just based on recent history with those tag team championships. And that's another reason, the main reason, why this is just wrong. You guys want to hear some facts that'll stagger you? They're staggering statistics. Facts, I should say. Hawkins and Ryder won those championships at WrestleMania in April. The championships were dropped by Hawkins and Ryder just 2 months later, and only 3 appearances on Raw in those 2 months. 3 appearances with those tag titles. 2 months after Hawkins and Ryder won those straps at WrestleMania in April, in June, again, 2 months later in June, the Revival took the titles from Hawkins and Ryder. Then, 1 month later, July 29th, Gallows and Anderson took the straps from the Revival. And now, 3 weeks later, August 19th, Strowman and Rollins took the titles off of Gallows and Anderson. Not even a month. So in the last 5 months, there was a 2-month reign. Then it went to a 1-month reign with Revival. Gallows and Anderson then had a 3-week reign. So it kept on diminishing. 2 months, 1 month, 3 weeks. And we have had 4 different sets of tag team champions in the last 5 months. Not even hot potato. This is just completely new champions. 4 of them in 5 months. Yeah, you can call me old school if you'd like, but I remember a time when tag team champions, when champions in general, would hold titles for a long time because that signified that they were worthy champions. There's a concept! A lost art. So anyone that is okay with this title change, A, just doesn't remember their history or refuses to acknowledge it. They don't even want to think about what happened yesterday or last week or last month or last year. They just look at Vince and say, I like this. Please, sir, can I have some more? That's all this is. Feed me more bullshit, Vince. I'll take it. I'll hand my money over to you gladly. I'll be at every live event. I'll buy all your fucking merchandise because I will buy whatever you're selling. That is a fucking idiot. If you buy whatever anybody's selling without questioning it, without thinking about the logic or common sense behind it, without thinking if any of it is relevant or should be happening, and you're just gladly saying, I love every single thing this man is dishing out, you're a fucking idiot. This isn't just name calling. You literally have to pull back and restructure your thinking. Because you're being had, man. You're being had. If you literally just sit down for 3 hours every single Monday night and you enjoy everything, man, then kudos to you. Keep living in your bubbly rainbow world. I would like my 3-hour programming, like pro wrestling, more specifically WWE, to make fucking sense. To make people look good, especially if they're champions. But if you are the type that loves everything that company dishes out, everything, keep it to yourself, man, because you're wrong. It's not just your opinion. What is happening is tragically wrong. People's careers are on the line here. Gallows and Anderson's careers were on the line last night. They were starting to get a bump with this whole OC business. They get the championship, and now all Vince needs to do is make them relevant. Give them a chance. Let them go on a winning streak, and let's see if they can sink or swim. What they're gonna do. Vince didn't even give them a chance, man. 3 weeks and they're dropping the titles for this stupid Strowman-Rollins feud that's gonna last no more than 2 months anyway. He's using these titles as just props, as pawns in the game to get to Rollins and Strowman. And it's not needed. It is wrong. People's lives, their careers are on the line here. And you're just going, it's a storyline. I like this. It's just a TV show. Those are the people that are honestly ruining pro wrestling and have already helped ruin WWE. Those are the people. They watch for the 3 hours and then they go on the dirt sheets and they go into the comments or they go on videos on this platform like this and they start questioning why everyone has a problem with something like this. Guys, I've seen this last night, guys. I saw this in an actual comment section. There was somebody who was absolutely mind-boggled that people were upset about Gallows and Anderson last night, losing the titles. This one person was mind-boggled. Guys, I don't understand. It's a TV show. They're gonna really try to up Rollins and Strowman. What's the big deal? People are upset over nothing. Yeah, okay. Careers and lives are at stake here when you start booking people erratically. That's the fucking deal. It's erratic booking. Absolute erratic booking. To drop the titles that many times in 5 months, to have new champions that many times in 5 months. It's erratic. There's no other word for it. None of it makes sense. You make Gallows and Anderson look like chumps since they've been on the main roster for years now. They sign a new contract. They get a new look. They really dedicated themselves. They got a new look, the new name, they got the titles, and now all they need is the chance. And you take that from them. What you do in the process, and subconsciously this is happening even with the casual fan, is you're making them losers. You're making everybody realize they're not actual champions. They're transition champions like everybody else with those tag straps especially, but you could really say every championship in WWE. Everybody is there just to pass it to the next every single month. It's a fucking merry-go-round with these championships. Say the same thing about Samoa Joe. He got the US strap after being a fucking jobber for years, and he got the title. Now he just needs a chance. And that title was on him for no more than a month, if even, actually. I think it was just a few weeks. You could go on and on with so many fucking champions in this company. They get the championships, they look like chumps. More irrelevant than when they didn't have the championships. Guys, this is the fucking truth. It may be hard to hear, but it's the truth. There is right and wrong. Your opinion is yours. That is based on a plethora of different things, right? If you like something up front or not, if you like someone or not, if you think a situation is better or for worse, I get it, right? Our opinions are based on a lot of factors. But there is still right and wrong in all of these scenarios. That was wrong last night. I gave you the staggering facts from WrestleMania on. 4 different sets of champions in just 5 months. There should have been 1 set of champions for the past 6 months. Or at least the past 5, right? Champions should have been crowned at WrestleMania, and they should have been having the rocket ever since. Or at least last week's SummerSlam, all right? I'd give you maybe they hold it from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, tops. So 2 sets of champions, tops. Fucking 4? Gallows and Anderson do all of this change, get all of this change, and for a 3-week title reign? And you're gonna tell me what? BC, they might get it back next week. See? Maybe Braun gets upset with Seth and they cost him the championships and Gallows and Anderson get them back. Okay. That doesn't do anything for the subconscious. Again, subconsciously, we are taking inventory of all of these losses. You get what I'm saying? So subconsciously, we saw Gallows and Anderson that were already fucking jobbers to begin with. They got titles, and they're still jobbers to us. They now need to build them momentum. They need to make them relevant. So they get the titles, and 3 weeks later, they drop them. So subconsciously, the inventory was starting to go up, and it just fell. It fucking bottomed out. So now they get the titles back, and then what? We start from scratch. That's what I mean. This is wrong every which way you look at it. I hope I'm making some fucking sense here, man. Again, if you're just a fucking fun-loving, bubbly rainbow cookies and chips type of wrestling fan, and you love it all, and you expect to come to a channel like this and get more fucking bubbly rainbow cookies and chips type reaction, you're in the wrong channel. There's plenty of other channels on this platform that'll give you that fun-loving, bubbly pro wrestling talk. And they will love everything that they saw last night. They'll give 19 ups and maybe just a couple downs. But that one thing deserves 1,000,000 downs. This isn't the channel for that bubbly shit. I'm gonna tell you exactly the truth. And it's gonna be hard to take in, it's going to be hard to deal with, it's going to be hard to acknowledge, but that truth will set you free. It'll enlighten you. If I'm not here to give you facts and back up what has happened in the last 5 months with those championships, you never really would have thought of it, would you? You would just think, oh, Rollins and Strowman, I'm kind of cool with this, I'm down with it. People are being ruined in the process Their careers ruined in the process, but I'm good with it. BC, don't worry, they signed a new deal. They're good financially. Maybe they actually want to be relevant too, though. Maybe it's not all just about money. Maybe they want to be relevant. And they were promised the world by Vince. Don't go to AEW. We're going to give you the championships. We're going to skyrocket you. Yeah, a 3-week reign. Just like Banks and Bayley were told they're going to make those tag titles relevant. And the second Bayley and Sasha get them, Vince was already probably planning to take it off of them. All of that work for nothing. If it seems like I'm amplified over this, I'm pissed off beyond belief. No question, guys. Gallows and Anderson should not have been dropping the titles on a Monday Night Raw 3 weeks after they just got them. I don't care if they win them back tonight. You have devalued them. You have diminished them. And that is the truth. Should we kick off Monday Night Raw? Review reaction from Monday, August 19th, 2019. Let's get this show on the road from the start. Raw starts off with the same Roman Reigns video package that we have seen 417 times in the last 2 weeks. How many times do we need to see this Roman Reigns video package? We get it. He was struck by a lighting fixture, almost struck by a car. Buddy Murphy has been flung. I've seen Buddy Murphy get tossed around more than any superstar in the 30 years I've been watching this company. In this one video package, I have seen Buddy Murphy tossed around so many times. It's actually devaluing him at this point. That's how we kicked off Raw, that same stupid video package. They're taking a cool storyline and they're starting to make it annoying to the Amplified Man. Because now it's not even evolving. Nothing happened last night with the storyline. It's the same video. It's like they ran out of all their good ideas and now they have nothing left. Tomorrow they're gonna continue it. Daniel Bryan has somebody for Roman Reigns. Tonight, I apologize, that's fucking tonight. We're doing the review on a Tuesday morning. So tonight, Daniel Bryan is gonna unveil who he says he thinks tried to run over Roman Reigns. Still, you couldn't have had something like, I mean, let's do new shit instead of just replaying the same video package that we've seen 417 times. And that's how you're getting us excited at the top of your show? Anyway, we then go into a Roman Reigns Dolph Ziggler match. Dolph talks a bunch of shit to Roman before landing a sucker shot via a super kick, knocking Reigns down and out for over a minute. Once Reigns gets back on his feet, the ref calls for the bell to start the match, but 60 seconds later, we're going to commercial. So far, the first 10 minutes have not really landed. Dolph Ziggler on the mic talking shit to Roman Reigns was the best part of that 10 minutes. Who would have thought Dolph Ziggler at this point would be the best part of the show? Once we got all the BS set up out of the way, and we're back from commercial, right? All the BS, that was the first 10 minutes, all the video packages, the cheap shots, the commercials. These two actually had a good match. Once back from commercial, they got a legit 7 minutes. That doesn't sound like a lot, I understand, but Monday Night Raw doesn't give a lot of matches over 2 minutes. So a 7-minute match between Dolph and Roman, that's actually fucking decent. We'll take it. They utilized every single second of those 7 minutes. The finish saw Dolph eating and selling the shit out of another spear. This one from Roman, not Goldberg, but he still sold it like gold. This is the best Dolph Ziggler I've seen in a while. And I know he's playing the role of a glorified jobber, but he's really starting to own it, and he's actually quite comical in this role. So a comedic Dolph is better than just an irrelevant Dolph, I think. But this is the best Dolph Ziggler that I've seen. He's actually adding to the show. He's actually adding some comedy to it. I would have loved to have seen him after he lost that match to Roman last night, get on the mic, talk some shit, Roman come back, spear him again. Maybe once or twice. It would only take 60 seconds more. No harm, no foul. But I like this new fucking Dolph, man. Much more than the Dolph I've been seeing the last 3 to 5 months, where he's just getting handed matches and he's just fucking lame as fuck and dull and stale and boring. This Dolph actually has some fun to him. So I don't mind this fucking Dolph, to be honest with you, lately. Hopefully they keep that up if they're going to parade him out there every week. Up next, we have Becky Lynch. She cuts a promo backstage on Sasha Banks. A pretty damn good one, too. And Banks is supposed to be a guest on the King's Court up next. Lawler first introduces the King of the Ring bracket, and he's talking about the King of the Ring before he's about to bring out Sasha Banks. However, the lights go out before he can bring Sasha out. Once the lights go out, we start hearing those diabolical screeches and screams. Lawler says, "Oh no, I've seen this before." And Lawler leaves the ring and heads up the rampway because he knows this is usually Bray Wyatt's time. So Lawler's up at the rampway, he's staring at the ring like thinking somebody's just gonna appear, but it's Bray Wyatt appearing behind Lawler on the ramp that catches everyone's attention, and Wyatt just shows up with that fucking evil, mysterious, diabolical fucking mask, and Lawler has no idea until he turns around, and he has gotten right into the mandible claw. Bray Wyatt puts Lawler down. Lawler is selling the shit out of it until he passes out. Bray Wyatt looks up, arms stretched out. The diabolical screeches and screams start fucking becoming more relevant. The lights go out one final time. We hear that diabolical laughter. And we go to commercial, man. Or no, I think what happened was the lights went back up and Lawler was just passed out, and then the referees all came out to try to help him. Then we faded to black and went to commercial. So Bray Wyatt strikes, and I love the way they did this. You want to keep it special still, so you don't want to always have him show up. Like last week, the post-Raw or post-SummerSlam Raw, they didn't have Bray Wyatt show up. I love that. This week, it wasn't a whole production where they have them, I can fucking speak, where they have him go to the ring. No, they had him just show up at the rampway, no music, do his fucking dirty deeds, no offense, Moxley, and then fucking take off. I love this. Because now the music is still special. We've only heard his awesome fucking entrance music one time so far in the last couple weeks. So they're keeping elements of him special still. I love that. And this is what I've said from the beginning. You could have done this with Demon Balor. There's no reason we should have been seeing Demon Balor once every single year, tops. And I don't even blame Vince. I blame Finn Balor. Balor, the report says that Balor actually went to Vince and said, "I don't want to lean on the demon as a crutch. I want to just be Finn Balor. Pop collar, smiley Finn." And I thought that was, and I know that was the wrong move. The demon was a special character, man. Nothing could ever be The Undertaker again, but we put the demon in that light. He goes into the demon, he transitions instantly, wham, into a superstar. And he didn't want to be the demon often. And I said, if you do it right, it'll remain special and you can be the demon 6-7 times a year. At least. And it'll still be special. Instead, once a year made it not special. Made people not even give a shit about it. And when he did bring it back, it was for the most irrelevant bullshit. A match with Baron Corbin, for instance. Or bringing it back at SummerSlam just because it was in Brooklyn one year, I remember. Just 2 years ago, I think. Maybe 2 years in a row when they were in Brooklyn. It was irrelevant from the jump. And I said, if you just did things that kept the elements secured as something special, then it would be done right. You don't have to always have all the layers and elements every single time Bray Wyatt or somebody like Demon Balor appear. You can have just a few elements and it would still be special while also securing the special aspects that they still hold. Hopefully that makes sense. Something as simple as having Bray show up, mandible claw at the top of the ramp, no music to play him down the ringside, that keeps him special. That keeps his entrance special. That keeps a lot of Bray Wyatt secure and on hold. I love that. And again, last week they didn't even bring Bray Wyatt out. You book this guy like such, it's going to be special. Hulk Hogan was like that back in the day, guys. People don't realize Hulk Hogan was the biggest star back in the day. And you want to know why? He didn't wrestle all the time. They didn't even bring him out all the time. There was weeks where their top star Hulk Hogan was left off TV and they would just talk about him a little bit. And that really made the mystique even more brightened and heightened. Hulk Hogan became a star because he wasn't overexposed. A character like Bray Wyatt or Demon Balor could be, if you just nurture it along, give it the time and effort, they could be larger than life. Bray Wyatt currently is. Let's keep it that way. I love that segment with Jerry Lawler last night. Up next, Miz and Ricochet taking on Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. A fucking tag team match I'm sure nobody even remembers this morning. Listen, it actually was a decent match. But check out the participants, and I wouldn't blame anyone if they were not interested. If you look at the participants, Baron Corbin, who's been non-existent for over a month, The Miz, who's been irrelevant for over a month, Drew McIntyre, who's been a 50-50 booked loser since he's gotten onto the main roster, Ricochet's the only one that might ooh-ah you in this match. And again, it's a shame. It actually was a decent match, but I'm sure nobody really cared about it. Ricochet defeated Corbin for the W. Enough said, let's move on. Hour number 2 starts off with AJ Styles versus Braun Strowman. This was only a 2-minute match. Gallows and Anderson cause a DQ. Rollins hits the ring for the save. And for the second week in a row, we get another Strowman-Rollins handshake. Braun Strowman, once this monster among men, and now he's just a humanized buffoon. Let's shake hands. Now let's go drink our juice boxes. I heard Nicholas is out of school. There's nothing else to talk about here. That's Rollins and Does anybody care about this fucking feud that's supposedly about to happen between Rollins and Strowman and that match that's inevitable? Does anybody care? I don't want to see them be friends first. I would rather see Strowman be an absolute annihilating monster, Brock Lesnar-esque. The story writes itself. Seth Rollins was able to do this once against Brock. Can he do it again against Braun? Now they're going to be buddies for fucking weeks, win all the titles. And then Braun's going to throw a hissy fit and the friendship will be over. I've seen this so many times and I'm not even invested in Rollins and Strowman anyway. So fucking odd to me. Or not so odd, it's not shocking. King of the Ring, match number 1 of 2 for the night. The tournament begins with Samoa Joe versus Cesaro. This was hard hitting from the jump, very physical, unfortunately just for a minute because then we had to head to commercial. Back from commercial, it was still solid and still really physical. 5 minutes of action, ending with Joe scoring the victory over Cesaro via the Coquina Clutch. So now Samoa Joe will take on the winner of next week's Ricochet and Drew McIntyre match. So we'll see where that goes, man. This was the best out of the 2 King of the Ring matches last night. Everybody thought the tournament was going to produce all these awesome matches. And something like Cedric Alexander and Sami Zayn will be amazing. Yeah. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Not so much. But at least Samoa Joe and Cesaro was hard hitting. At least. Good for Samoa Joe. He moves on. What does this say for Cesaro? I don't know. Quite fucking sad. This is what I mean, guys, about booking people correctly. People's lives are at stake because this is their careers, their livelihood. So booking people correctly means so much to the actual humans. Playing these characters and putting on these performances, these are their careers. They need a chance to look strong and dominant. Cesaro in a tag team was irrelevant even when him and Sheamus had the titles. Because the division for tag teams was irrelevant. Basically non-existent. So now Cesaro's on his own and he doesn't really get a fucking chance. So what happens? Sheamus finally comes back, they reformed the Bar, and for what? It's clear if they reform the Bar, which looks like what's gonna happen, they're not planning for anything in their future. Because the whole tag division isn't planned out, but days in advance, if even. And Vince probably changes that by the minute. So the Bar gets together, they get a little bit of a pop. Wow, it's the Bar. And then what? We get the Bar versus the Usos for the 714th time. We get the Bar versus the New Day for the 914th time. We get the Bar versus Gallows and Anderson for 347th time. You not excited? Are you not entertained? Elias is up next. Final performance, supposedly. He's interrupted by R-Truth. Truth tries several times to pin Elias for the 24/7 strap, but to no avail. Elias is eventually able to escape. I love the 24/7 title, not in the middle of the ring. How many times do I have to say this? That is supposed to be for back in the locker room, at the golf course, on the airplane, in the supermarket, at the hairdresser, where the fuck you need this to be. It's for bragging rights with the boys and gals, and for some fun backstage. It's to get away from the action in the ring and have some comedic segments backstage. The 24/7 title has value. It's fun. It can be entertaining. It doesn't need to be in the middle of the ring, because in the middle of the ring, that fun and entertainment just becomes a farce and bullshit. Rey Mysterio is up next. He's backstage. He's given a heartfelt retirement speech out of nowhere. But when Dominic pulls him aside, he has Rey kind of reconsider his retirement. Now, we've already heard reports Dominic is training to be the next WWE superstar. Now, I have my reservations, absolutely. I like Dominic. He seems like a good kid, and maybe one day he could be a good WWE, a damn good WWE superstar. Good pro wrestler in general. Looking at Dominic, he is nowhere near that now. I am being truthful with you. The first thing Dominic needs to do before he even thinks about just wrestling skill-wise training, he needs to get in the gym for a solid year and see the improvements. Learn a gym routine. Get solid muscle. Get strong. Looking at Dominic, spaghetti arms are not going to allow you to get in that ring and start body slamming Samoa Joe. This is the truth, guys. I care greatly. I give a damn greatly about the superstars that are performing in that ring for our entertainment. If you're not strong enough to lift human beings, you should not be in that ring. Looking at Dominic, there is no fucking way that he's lifting up Samoa Joe 3 to 4 times in a match. He needs to get in a gym, solidify some muscle, get strong. Cesaro, arguably one of the strongest guys in that company, last night had trouble picking up Samoa Joe twice. And that's Cesaro. I don't want to see Dominic going in the middle of that ring just for a quick money grab because he's Mysterio's son. And it might get a few eyes onto the product when lives could be at risk. I've seen people fall on their head from people that were not strong enough to carry them. That is my concern. I don't care about a money grab. I don't care if it's Mysterio's son. Get into the gym, solidify yourself muscle-wise, get strong, learn your craft, and in a couple years, if you think you got this wrestling thing down and you think you got that it factor and you think you can rock out WWE style, then you go to Vince and say, I'm ready. Dominic should not be in that ring within the next 2 years. That is my observation. Up next, the New Day, Xavier and Big E. Why would I think they wouldn't show up? They're only SmackDown Live's champions for the tag straps. Why wouldn't they be on Raw? At this point, why not? There is no fucking brand split, obviously. The wild card rule has totally imploded, and nothing's organized anymore. Nothing makes sense. At this point, just take the SmackDown tag titles and spray paint them half red. Because there's so many blurred lines, nobody knows what brand anybody's on anymore. It was an okay match, but let's be honest. And again, I'm sorry guys, Xavier and Big E took on the Revival. So it was an okay match, but let's be honest, the real action picked up when out of nowhere, Randy Orton delivered an RKO out of nowhere to Big E, basically knocking him out of his boots. Kofi Kingston then tried to make a save, but he ate an insane RKO himself. And this was absolute legit. Kofi Kingston landed on his head out of the RKO. It was legit badass. He sold the shit out of that. Props to Kofi. Then Xavier took a nasty RKO as well. This was with help from the Revival. They hoisted him up and Randy Orton took care of the rest. And then the Revival proceeded to what looked like snap the ankle of Xavier. Xavier was really selling the leg injury, screaming in agony and in pain. It was really cool to see, man. This brought me back to like Randy Orton in Evolution. I always felt Randy Orton stood out in factions. I know it's a faction, so there's many people and everybody's standing out, but Randy Orton was just, he really glowed in those type of scenarios and situations. And then he went into Legacy where he was the leader. And I really feel he was a key component in making Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes as special as they were back then. Legacy was actually pretty cool in my eyes, and Randy Orton just fit there, man. He was badass. So seeing the Revival with Randy Orton and seeing how badass they are, I like this. And for the Revival, let's be honest, they could use any lifeline they can get their hands on right now in their careers. Randy Orton could be that lifeline. Everybody wins in this type of scenario. I like this little mesh up between Randy Orton and the Revival. It's interesting to see where this goes and if they let this play out and they become a little bit of a stable. I don't even need a fourth participant yet. Let's just see what those three can do. And this reminds me a little bit like Legacy. So the match, decent, okay at best. But the ending of this match was actually badass. Seeing Randy Orton and Revival tear shit up. Hour number 3, guys. We're going to start off with Sasha Banks, an interview backstage. I love this. She does not answer Michael Cole's question. This is just legit in every which way, and this is exactly what should have happened. This is playing off the Sasha Banks being in her own world and not giving a damn what you think and not having to answer to you or anybody. This plays into this new character. So I love the fact she didn't answer one of Michael Cole's questions. And she just says, "You're welcome." Takes the mic off and storms off. And that was the Sasha Banks interview. I fucking loved it. And that was not the last time you'd see Sasha Banks in that third hour either. Up next, we have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. What are they calling them? Fire and Ice or Fire and Desire? I don't even fucking... I'm gonna call them Fire and Ice. It could be Fire and Desire. I have no idea. To me, it's still just Mandy and Sonya. Anyway, this was roughly 5 minutes long-ish. Honest review of this match. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. For the most part, not bad. When you think of all the women's matches, tag matches, the schmaz matches, that really we were just left like, this was just a mess. This actually was not. This was not a bad match. I'm hard-pressed to say good, but it wasn't bad. Cross got to showcase just a glimpse of what made her special in NXT. Bliss looked pretty fucking confident in there, which isn't always the case with Alexa, and that's what pisses me off. Because I know if she just gets this confidence, she's better than what she mostly portrays in that ring. It's just confidence with her, and I hate that shit. Last night, she was pretty fucking confident in there, so props to Alexa Bliss. Mandy Rose continues to show improvement. Every time I see her in that ring. She looked pretty good in there last night. But I'm gonna be truthful with you guys, as I am always. Sonya Deville is just an erratic mess in there. Sonya Deville in there just looked unorthodox, and she was just all over the place. Nothing flowed with Sonya Deville. It never really does. Last night, she just looked even more messy and erratic. It's like her steps are off pace. She doesn't know where to go next. She's frolicking all over the ring. Sonya Deville was the weak link in there last night. So I'm just throwing that out there, man. That needs to be fixed and corrected sooner rather than later. King of the Ring tournament match number 2 of the night. Sami Zayn versus Cedric Alexander. And this is what I say all the time. Everybody was like, wow, the King of the Ring is going to produce so many awesome matches. Is it? I question that. Like last night, Sami Zayn and Cedric. Everyone thought this was going to be one of the key matches, man. We're going to have a lit match. Yeah, if 3 minutes is lit for you. I kid you not, this was a 3-minute match between Sami Zayn and Cedric Alexander. Cedric defeats Sami Zayn. What a tournament! What happened to Sami Zayn? Who did he piss off in that locker room? That they couldn't even give you 10 minutes in the King of the Ring tournament to tear it up with Cedric. 3 minutes. I've seen jobbers in this business. I've seen Barry Horowitz. I've seen the Brooklyn Brawler. I've seen Danny Dipshit Guggenheimer and Billy Buttfuck McGee, but I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a jobber like Sami Zayn, man. Unreal. And nobody cared about Cedric after the win. So you didn't just ruin a little bit more, if there's anything else to ruin, of Sami Zayn. You're ruining Cedric now. He looked dynamite last week against Drew McIntyre, and then this week a 3-minute match to the point where nobody cared after he won. So people were just saying, oh, okay, all right, that was a stupid match. So you actually devalued Cedric as well in the process of trying to devalue Sami Zayn. Hopefully that makes sense. Unfucking real. Next, more Street Profit stupidity. Annoying as fuck. I have never, in 30 plus years of watching this product, I have never seen a more annoying act. Not even what the New Day has been lately. I have not seen a more annoying act than the Street Profits. Over the top annoying now. Glorified cheerleaders, and now even worse than that, This is legit cringe-worthy shit. I literally want to take my remote and press the last channel button to whatever the fuck I was watching previous. I don't care if it's the fucking Food Network. I don't even care if it was if somehow Lifetime came up on my fucking TV screen. That would be more entertaining than watching the Street Profits be superly over-the-top annoying. I like Street Profits, basically. It's an abundance of energy. I'll hear something like, I don't mind the Street Profits, basically. I thought they were really funny. Yeah, that's funny. I hope we're never in a comedic, in a movie theater with a fucking comedic movie, a comedic film, and you're fucking sitting next to me. You'll be that annoying fuck laughing at every fucking scene. Oh. Natty is up next backstage. She's delivering a Why Sasha Why promo, basically. And Sasha jumps Natty backstage. And Sasha Banks tells Natty, go to hell and tell your daddy I said hi. Can you believe that? Go to hell and tell your daddy I said hi, man. And the way she delivered that, a believability to no end. I loved it, man. Everything Sasha is doing with this new character / kind of old school character for Sasha, I am loving this. And I love how they didn't parade her out into the ring, man. Again, keep it special. It's not a character like Bray that needs to be kept special in such way. But the fact that they're keeping it special, hey man, we'll fucking take it. The fact they did something right again with one of their personalities, in this case, I'm a little biased, it's Sasha Banks, I'm all down with it. Beautiful. Keep it going. Sasha Banks, no matter what they give her, she is going to do her best to deliver. That's what I mean. If they just gave this girl a chance, this woman a chance, she will fucking shine. And they know that. And I think that scares Vince, because he knows she'll run away with the division. And he can't have any over-the-top, larger-than-life superstars. He can't have anyone larger than the company. He can't have another Becky Lynch situation where everyone actually gets behind her. And that's why he helped ruin Becky Lynch. I don't know. I can go on and on, man. Damn good segment there with Sasha Banks. And she just looked yowie wowie last night. Right? Right? I don't know. Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins, they're going to end the night trying to go for the tag team championships. All because, why not? Seth just asked for them. So we have an impromptu. Now your tag titles have to be defended on the spot these days. Braun and Seth taking on Gallows and Anderson Raw tag straps. Listen, to me, I was just like, okay, this is just to further Braun and Seth. Do what you got to do. Just make sure Gallows and Anderson walk away with the straps. No matter what they have, no matter how corny this is going to be, how stupid the booking is going to be, just have Gallows and Anderson walk away with the straps. That's all I ask. Of course, they didn't get that right. Let's get right to the point. Braun and Seth defeat Gallows and Anderson. I don't need to talk about this match. That's all you need to know. Braun and Seth become new tag team champions for Raw. And why? Why? Don't answer that. That's rhetorical. Don't actually be like BC. It's to further the feud. BC, Gallows and Anderson will get him back one day. BC, no. The why is rhetorical. For what? That's rhetorical too. You don't got any. I have all the answers already. Trust me. I've dissected this. I've done my research. I know exactly where they're headed. This destroys anything and everything for Gallows and Anderson. That's not being overdramatic. That just destroys everything. How do I know this? They were already destroyed. They've dedicated themselves to this new OC thing. New ring gear, new look. They got the titles. There was this new energy to them. They really looked at this as a new beginning. And they have a 3-week title reign. Do you honestly think in the mind, the subconscious of even the casual fan, their stock doesn't get devalued? Do you honestly think that if that's the case, then you don't know psychology? You don't know how a human dome piece works. Because inventory is constantly being valued or devalued in our dome piece when it comes to shit like this. When it comes to winning and losing. Especially when you cannot keep championships for more than 3. You can't even keep them for a month. You guys see why I always had a problem with Sasha Banks. They never had her keep a title for more than a month. And people thought I was over-dramatizing the situation. No, that's criminal. You had people like the Iconics holding their tag straps for multiple months. Gallows and Anderson can't hold them for 1 month? Not even close. 3 weeks. And there's people okay with it. And okay, you know what? Whatever floats your boat. You're entitled to your opinion. But when you start looking outside of the WWE bubble and you come on to platforms like this and you start hearing the truth, because there is a truth here. This is an opinion. There's a right and a wrong. You come on channels like this and you see people outraged and you're like, and you honestly, in your head, you don't know why this is a problem for people. Why is everyone upset? It's just a TV show, and this is to propel their big storyline. Gallows and Anderson will be okay. No, they won't. Look at me. They won't be okay, because they haven't been. So who the fuck are you, Jimmy Dipshit, to tell me they're gonna be alright? What fact do you have? What proof? You have none. I have the facts. I have the truth. If you love everything WWE does and you're one of them bubble boys, that's fine. Stay in the bubble. Don't come out of that bubble, try to come on platforms like this and try to wonder and act like you're the one who has the answers and we're just over-dramatizing it. We're over-analyzing this. Forget the fact that it's a review show over a certain subject. So overanalyzing is what we're supposed to do anyway. But even the things that are just black and white, fact or fiction, truth or false, right and wrong, even those things, you'll get people that are dumbfounded. What? I think this is good. This is good for everybody. This is fucking criminal. I am so tired of championships not meaning anything in this company. Nothing. It's hot potato. In this case, it's just multiple champions. 4 different sets of champions in 5 months. And there's human beings that have no problem with it. It's a TV show. I like it. Yeah, it's just a TV show, yet you go on fucking platforms like YouTube. You go and read dirt sheets because you need to have the news. You're always checking up on shit 24/7. But it's just a TV show. No, pro wrestling is a way of life for all of us, and you damn well know it. It's more than just a TV show. It's just entertainment. It's a way of fucking life. And people's careers are on the line, which affects their life drastically up front. Gallows and Anderson just signed a contract, an extension with WWE. And he gave it for 3 weeks. And then Vince, in his erratic decision-making, is like, I want him on Braun and Seth. I feel this soon-to-be feud needs a little bit of fuel to the fire. Yeah, the tag titles are really gonna make us more interested. Like anybody gives a shit about them holding the titles. I would have rather you just get creative with the Braun and Seth thing. And over here, you make Gallows and Anderson something special. Finally. Do they not deserve that finally after years, Vince? It's rhetorical. Of course they deserve it. Fuck do I know? I just have common sense and logic. I just have smarts in my dome piece. Oops, my bad. It's the Amplified Man. That was Monday Night Raw, man. Thank goodness for people like Bray Wyatt and his character. Thank goodness for people like Sasha Banks and her character. A little bit of physicality between Cesaro and Samoa Joe was nice to see. Randy Orton in this new thing with the Revival, I'm kind of digging. And that was the pluses, the positives of Monday Night Raw. Other than that, take it or leave it. I can leave it, to be honest with you. And I'm just mind-boggled. Although I shouldn't be. I should already know this with this company. But over the decision-making of taking the tag titles off of Gallows and Anderson. It's just fucking stupidity at its finest. We'll go on to SmackDown tonight and see what they produce, and we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. For now, go about your Tuesday and kick its fucking ass, please. The Amplified Man saying, "Fuck you."